Welcome back. So please get seated so we can start with the presentation of this afternoon. 3 more teams and 3 more projects to go. So I just wait for the last ones to get seated. And I will give the mic to the first team of this afternoon. What have we done to each other?
I knew a little girl once. She was creative. She wanted to live adventures and see the world for the amazing and magical place she imagined it to be. But then her best friend died, and all her dreams came crashing down like glass. Suddenly, there was no more laughter for her, no more games, no more wonder. She was a living, breathing, suffering ghost, walking around the hallways of a broken family's house, filled with memories so painful. The only way to protect herself was to forget. But the thing about memories is that they don't always stay buried. And one day, we all have to face our mistakes, our regrets, and our dirty little secrets. It's what this place taught me. Hasn't it, Mia?
Past is just a story you tell yourself. In 1995, Dove Point, Missouri, was one of the many places the Iron Thief serial killer chose to hit. Hope, a little girl, was awfully killed, leaving the town in shock and her family in mourning. In 2010, our cousins, Eva, Caleb, and Mia, discovered that Hope may not have been a victim of the serial killer. They will have to dive into gruesome family secrets to find the truth. So, what really happened 15 years ago? Who killed Hope? Why? How will the siblings deal with the truth? These are the questions you will have to answer. The way you see your past influences your perception of the present. This sentence is what drives us all along the project. So what have we done to each other is a psychological thriller game. The player will be able to embody all the 3 siblings with different memories, to investigate in their family past, and to decide what to do with the truth. So the game is an interactive storytelling. It's made for 1 player on PS5, and it's a premium game. So the total length of the 5th chapter of the premium game will be 12 to 13 hours. But now let's talk more in detail about our history and the Henderson family. So the Henderson family, it's a troubled family. This is what it should look like if everything was okay. But Hope never knew her father. Then she dies at 8 years old. And then, some years later, there is Stephen that disappears from a long disease. This motivates Caleb to leave the town. And where our story takes place, Caleb is coming back after 7 years. So the player will be able to embody, alternatively, Mia, Caleb, and Eva. Let's talk more about these characters. So here is Mia. She is the youngest one of the siblings. She is still shocked by the death of Hope, and she wants to know the truth. Here is Caleb. He is the middle child. He has been forced to come back to his hometown, and he is in bad terms with the whole family. And the last one is Eva. She is the eldest child. She is selfless and protector, and she has lost her ideal that she had when she was a little girl because she had to take care to the whole family. So now our story is dividing in 5 acts. So we will talk more in detail about each of these ones. So the first three acts are about Mia, Ava, and Caleb. They focus on each of the siblings, but the player will be able to embody all the three siblings in each chapter all along the game. Indeed, it will just depend on the scenario, and it will change depending on that. So chapter 4 is about the family, so the Anderson, and the chapter 5 is about the siblings. Act 1, Mia. It's where you will call the past into questions. So at this moment, you get proof that Hope was not killed by the Iron Thief serial killer. Chapter 2, Ava. It's where you will try to reconnect with your siblings. So at this moment, the past is catching up with each of the siblings. Act 3, Caleb. It's where you will smell the lie in your close one's words. So at this moment, the three siblings understand that the potential culprit may be closer than it was expected. Act 4, the Anderson. It's where you will unravel dark secrets. So at this moment, Hope's story is revealed, not depending on what the player has done, and a decisive choice is waiting to the player to be made. The Act 5 is about the siblings. It's where you will try to control the aftermath. So at this moment, you will discover character outcomes, and you will see one of the three different endings depending on what you have done during the game.
So let's dive deeper into our vertical slice. So we're here at chapter 2, Ava. We are at the third quarter of the chapter, and at this moment, Ava is concerned by Mia's quest and tries to reason with her to leave it be. Caleb hides a secret, and he thinks it's time to reveal it. And Mia insists on searching for memories of her cousins. This is where our vertical slice takes place. So now let's play and take a look at it.
Why does coming here seem so wrong? There's nothing in this place but all toys and clothes. But it feels like a sanctuary I'm not allowed to visit. Maybe there is a reason Mom and Aunt Carol don't want us to come here. Still, I can't think of another place to look for Hope. Or for her memory anyway.
So when the player is in the environment, he can move and interact with objects. But by pressing R2, he can see another version of the environment as it was before in the past. This way, you can interact with objects in the present.
I guess all things break down over time. It's a shame. I like this one.
But also their version as it was in the past.
This song brings me back. We were dancing around the room, pretending we were ballerinas in a giant theater. Hope was so much better than me at this. She was better than me at many things.
You can also interact with objects that can bring more narrative and context and see what happens before.
Daniel and Hope. Long story. Oh. Sad. Puppies do make everything better. I wonder what kind of person Hope's father was.
And the player can even read them. You have all sorts of interaction in the room.
They are not as bright as I remember. Do they even still glow in the dark? She used to draw everyone from our imaginary friends to her classmates, even us wearing hero capes and magical stuff. She liked to be the explorer, but I preferred to be a magician. That made us a weird duo. Would she still be drawing if she wasn't?
But there are more important objects that can trigger code scenes and make the story go further.
Oh yes. I remember we used a recorder to pretend we were famous news reporters. Is it still in here? I'm sure I can find it if I search a little. There it is. Does it still hold our old recordings? Maybe they're a bit embarrassing, but I'd love to listen to them. Shit, it's not working. Is it broken? Oh no, it's just out of batteries. I should be able to find some nearby. I could take the batteries from the alarm clock. Nobody's using it anyway. If Mrs. Moore were here, she would tell me it's time to move on. But how am I supposed to do that when her murder isn't even solved yet? Everybody seems okay pretending she didn't die. She just never existed. I don't want to do that. I will remember her, even if it hurts.
So in this sequence, the player has to reproduce a sequence of interaction to feel corresponding to what happens on screen and feel more connected, emotionally connected with the character. In this scene, Mia will reconnect with her memories and go into a nightmarish version of her past. She's opening the recorder to change the batteries.
Hope.
This is
That's
news
you.
reporter Hope here, about to head out to a dangerous and super important expedition. Only I, the amazing Hope, with my equally amazing partner Mia. Say hello, Mia. Only we
Hello,
can
Hope.
the scary land of the beasts, so full of danger.
Ah, the batteries are almost out.
And the hero to save.
The tape is pretty damaged,
Go right away.
but I should
because
still be
only
able to hear some of...
Kirk the Knight.
Wait,
Kirk the Knight wants
Kirk.
to go home to his
I know
family.
that name. It was some kind of a plush. Our damsel in distress. Imprisoned somewhere far away. He needed us heroes to save him. I want to remember it. Remember our games. I recall we used to stroll through the neighborhood, pretending to investigate for Kirk, ringing at people's houses, asking if he was there or if they had seen him. Ah, but it was so long ago, I'm not even sure I recall what it looks like. Tell me, which one of you is Kirk? I have to find this stuffed toy before this memory fades away. Come on here, little boy. Don't slip away, memory, please. Let me see your name. Don't try to fool me. I know you're not Kirk. You, come here. You're not Kirk. No, not you. Tell me you're the right one. What do you look like, little Kirk? No one. You are all wrong. Yes, of course. None of you was Kirk, because Kirk wasn't a toy. He was someone, or something else. Hope thought she'd find outside of her house. You, all of you, are just alternative to the real thing, aren't you? Some substitutes she used until she would finally find who she was truly looking for.
But come on! You don't seem to really enjoy the game.
No, not that much. I'm sorry.
Oh, but come on! Take my hand! It will be fun, I promise! Cat needs us! He doesn't know the way back home! Come on, Mia! Let's play together as we always do!
I'm coming.
Cat will bring peace to our land.
We'll find Cat together.
Will you help me? He'll make everything okay.
Yes!
Oh, but come on! Don't you want to play with me?
Trying, Hope. I'm really trying.
Aren't you coming with me, Mia?
Wait for me.
I can't do this. I can't do this. But come on. You're my amazing partner. Don't leave me hanging.
I will reach your hand. I promise.
I don't want us to abandon you, Mia. Let go.
Hang in there, Hope, please.
We'll be stronger together.
I know, Hope. Oh, God. This is not what I did, didn't I? I can't succeed to remember me taking your hand, because I never did. I turned you down. I was tired of our games revolving around your Kirk. I didn't want to look for him anymore. Was this our last talk, Hope? Was this the last memory you had from me?
So, are you coming or not?
I can't. It's too late now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't take your hand that day, Hope. I really am.
Okay, so if you don't want to help, I will find him. On my own.
What did you do to find him, Hope?
Hey, sis. Listen, there's something I wanted to tell you. I must tell you. I mean, if you have time, maybe I can pick you up so we can talk somewhere.
Caleb?
Yes? Is everything okay? You sound weird.
I don't know. I feel sick.
What do you mean? Hey, Mia, are you crying? Is everything okay? Are you hurt or...
No. It's my head. I keep remembering things and they don't always make sense.
Calm down. Breathe slowly. I'm here for you, okay? Tell me, what kind of things don't make sense?
There is this name. Kirk. It keeps coming up inside my head, and I think he was someone important in our games. The ones I used to play with Hope.
And who's Kirk?
I don't know. He clearly meant something to Hope. We kept making up scenarios to rescue him from, and she said we needed him, and that he was in danger. It's like she was obsessed or something.
And you really have no clue about who he could be?
Maybe she was talking about her father?
Really, I doubt it, Mia. I don't think Hope even met the guy. Do we even know his name?
No. But I have really no idea who else she could have been so eager to find. I'm not even sure what to think, honestly. I just want to make sense of everything.
I understand. But please, calm down. I know you're easily triggered when it comes to Hope. But remind yourself that memories are just stories that can be easily misinterpreted. It happened so long ago.
My memories are important. They're about the day she died, Caleb. I turned her down and let her find Kirk on her own. What if it was my selfishness that killed her? What if it was my fault? What if I could have saved her?
Okay, I'm picking you up right now. I won't leave you alone with all this.
Okay. I'll wait for you.
And, Mia?
Yes.
You were not responsible for Hope. Don't ever think that way.
I don't know anymore, Caleb.
I'll be there in a minute.
But what if things went differently? What if Mia didn't have the time to find all the plush and didn't realize that Kirk was not a toy? So we have this sequence.
No, 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 don't go. I know you have something to share with me. Why? Why am I not able to remember? Why is my memory so eager to fail me? It's so painful to feel you're drifting away, Hope.
You don't seem to really enjoy the game.
So this is a direct consequence. Now let's see. What if Mia may mistake Kirk for a toy? Later in the game, when she will speak to Margaret, her mother, and ask her, "Do you know who Kirk is?" If the player succeeded and thinks that Kirk isn't a toy, then they will realize that Margaret lied, and it will be easier to persuade her at the next confrontation. And as we have a relationship system between the characters, Mia will get a relationship bonus with Caleb. But if they didn't realize that Kirk isn't a toy, the player may believe her false track and will be harder to persuade her at the next confrontation. Mia will get also a lose of relationship point with Caleb. Succeeding nightmares allow short-term bonuses as relationship stats, persuasion getting easier, but also long-term bonuses, like unlocking the third ending. And it can give also more narrative. Let's talk about those endings. You may have understood it, but the responsible is directly linked to the Anderson family. And more than discovering who killed her, your real responsibility will be what you will do with the truth. So, will you keep it secret or denounce their actions? And you will face at least this dilemma. If you choose to keep it secret, you will decide to protect an illusion of peace and protect it so dearly that Mia will end threatening her cousin Daniel once he goes too secret as his turn. You nurture a never-ending cycle of secrets covering secrets. This is the legacy ending. If, on the contrary, you denounce those you trust, your family ends up deeply hurt and broken. And Mia is finally able to move on, but in a drastic way, she burned down what's left of the house they used to share and live for good. This is the sacrifice ending, where you're throwing away what used to feel precious in aim to escape toxicity. But if you regularly succeeded at nightmare sequences and get back memories from your past, a new option is possible. You can speak to them. Recall them how things were different back then, how Hope loved them, how they were not always the hiding person afraid of themselves they are now. So you make them think, question themselves, and they'll decide to surrender. And doing so frees the family of evil secret. This is the resilience endings.
So now that we have talked about our whole game and the experience that we want to transmit, let's talk more about marketing and production. So first, our key selling points. Our first key selling point is the ambience. In the vertical slice, we have created four different ambiances. So you can see here the present, the two different past ambiances that are kind of nightmare, and the night present ambience. In the whole game, each character will have different ambiances, and different moments in the scenario will trigger different ambiances also. Our second key selling point is the multiple perception. Here, we have focused on the fear that is the character of Mia, but in the whole game, the player will be able to embody also Calem, that is represented by the resentment, and Eva, that is represented by the nostalgia. So all the three characters see the world in different visions, and the player will be able to see same events with the different visions. So finally, our last key selling point is the opposition between past and present. In the slice, we have worked a lot on the environment, and we have created a room that feels like it's alive, comparing then the present one that feels like death ambience. So in the whole game, there will be also the memory zone action that can be triggered by the player, and the element of the environment will be seen with the different vision of the past and the present. So now, what about the production? This is what we already done. So from October to December, we took a lot of time to make a conception. In this moment, we have defined all the 12 hours of experience to make it coherent. We have defined the story with characters, with elements, and we have the whole story for the 12 hours already. We have defined also a gameplay with a mechanic that is coherent with our narration, and a whole user experience with artistic direction. And finally, we have created a cinematic and choice tool. For the vertical slice, at this moment, we have defined the experience, we have created and produced one character, and made level design and some environment assets. But the real development began in January. In 1 month, we have been able to make animations, assets, sound, music, lighting, cinematics, and everything that you saw in the vertical slice. So the 2 last weeks of February was about the polish. That's why we think that if we expand our team, we can produce the whole game in 3 years. So the pre-production will last 2 more months to be able to create 1 hour playable character and to test that it's really working to have different playable character. And we will also test more about the relationship points. So at the end of May 2020, we will have 1 room, 3 different ambiances, 4 cinematics, 2 playable characters. And so we will enter in the production phase. At this moment, we will go to a core team of 35 persons to create the other playable character, and all the other elements that are listed here that are a lot of artistic elements, so we will have more people in art. So 20 NPCs, 3 different alliances, 6 buildings, 6 rooms, 40 long cinematics. We will release the game in October to be able to tackle the Christmas marketing, the Christmas market. So why we think this will be okay is because we have a great tool. So we have already created a tool that allows us to create interactive choices really fast, and also to create cinematic linked to timeline and cinematics. So now let's talk more about the marketing and how we place our game on the market. So what have we done to each other is a AA size game. So we will produce it with 35 people, and it will cost around 7.4 million euro. Because of that, we will have a break even at 370,000 copies, and so it will be sold at 35 euro on PS5. But our goal is to sell 500,000 copies, so we can have some money to create another game after that. And our high objective is 1 million copies to have enough money to create another game of the same level. We are sure that this is possible because we have analyzed the market well. So we can see here that we are at around 500,000 copies, and that our core target favorite games are AA, AAA games that are sold more than 40 euro and that are sold more than 3 million units. We can see that our goal is around a really good AAA game, as for example Edith Finch or Oxenfree. But our length is pretty different, and so we will be around 12 hours. So we think that this is the right price for us, and this will fit to the market. Finally, we have analyzed our targets, and we think that our players are players that search for new experiences. That's why we're trying to sell us on the ambience and all on the new mechanic that we have created. So thank you for your attention. Don't hesitate to come to the Plateau project to test the game and to try the other interactions that are possible. And I call the team to come with us.
First question. Can you just present yourself again? I'm sorry for that.
Hello. So my name is Benoit. I'm working at Ubisoft Bordeaux. One question for you. Why do you target PS5? I mean, like expectations in terms of realization will be huge. The console price will be expensive. Probably they will target like core gamers with action games, sports games, some free-to-play games, but high quality, quadruple A games. And the console is retro-compatible. So you could do on a lower console and port one day on PS5.
Yeah, because we think that it will be more competitive to be on PS5 in 2023. But in fact, yeah, we could have the retro compatibility, but we think that we should maybe try to. Well, one of the ideas was to try to talk to Sony to try to have an exclusivity or something like that, because we know that they like this kind of game, narrative game. They like to have some new and different game like that. So we think it can be an argument.
Okay.
Stéphane, I have two questions. The first is related to the last one. I was thinking that the best place for such a game is on a tablet or a phone, because people can spend the story in a train, can listen to the story in a train, in a place like that, more than in front of a big screen. So have you thought a little about that? And the second question is, you know her story. Did you thought to make a part of or the whole game not with graphics, but with movies and cameras and real actors and things like that?
So about the tablet or phone, we really want to play on the ambiances and to create something that is really important on the visual and on the sound aspects. So we think that it'll fit more on a big screen, and so that's why we have choose consoles. And so about her story, well, we have created here a semi-realistic style, and we think that this is one of our main elements, and that is part of the ambience. That is one of the key selling points. So we think we will stay like that.
I'm going to pile on. At Telltale, we were on as many platforms as we could be on, because the value of the property was getting it to the customers and letting them experience it in whatever format that they wanted. So we would literally push out every one of our experiences to as many screens as possible. Having you focus on one worries me, because I think you have something that is exciting and interesting, and there's a story. There's enough of a story here that I want to come back to know how it ends right now already. So you've got me hooked, and if I want to be on a cell phone, or if I want to be on a Switch, or if I want to be on some sort of console system that doesn't exist yet, I think you might want to consider being on all of them. Sure, launch on PS5, do an exclusive, great, but be ready to do it on everywhere, because you're telling a human story. I think that's very, very important. It should be very, very accessible and approachable. So I'm just doubling down on what everybody else already said. You got a good thing going. This is good. So that's not a question.
You're allowed to say comments and suggestions to the students too.
a question for you, Audrey from Game Bakers. What makes you think 12 hours is a good duration for this kind of game?
Well, we've also made a curve with the climax of our story, and so in each chapter we have made it to be interesting for the player to play another chapter, so they want to play more. We think that 12 hours is a good length because each act will be about 2.30 hours, and so we think that this is a good length for a chapter and that people can sit and play 2 hours in a row and then play the other one the other day, maybe something like that.
Hello, Rémi from Ubisoft Bordeaux. What was the point of the QTE? As you said, it was to feel the character. So you were setting up the tape recorder, but we can see the tape recorder, so it's hard to have this feeling.
Well, the scenes are here for to make the player understand too that there is something important that is coming. That for this case, Mia is focusing on trying to remember as well as we have as a player to focus on the actions. Sorry. And for this scene particularly, we decide to emphasize on the sounds. We don't have unlimited production assets for now, so we decided for that we won't see the recorder, but really have natural sounds that could make us visualize and be with her at this moment.
Thank you.
I was actually struck by that event, QuickTime event, and the fact that you weren't looking. I thought it was deliberate, or maybe it was deliberate, but that at first I was thinking, oh, are we going to do a emotional thought process QuickTime event? But you used the audio design to sort of have a specific sort of interaction, but you're focusing on the character, and so you realize that it's not about the tape recorder. It is about opening something that's kind of scary and taking a very brave step into a recollection of a painful memory. And so I thought that was kind of cool. And I wonder if you have more examples or more ideas to how to be creative and sort of use very minimal gameplay, but to make it impactful. I think you managed to connect the gameplay to emotion in a cool way like that. And I think with a very low interaction game like that, that is super important. Then the artistic responsibility moves from the game design over to the direction and the camera work. So that I think that is a strength that you can really capitalize on, I think.
Thank you first. And for another example, we have, for example, the characters of Ava, which is really focused and turned on trying to protect and trying to put her family stand together despite their difficulties. We can imagine that some way they would have this kind of simple interaction, but she will have to just repair something as if she was thinking about repairing her family in doing so, and things like that. We didn't thought about all the gameplay interaction we could have, but we already have a lot of potential scenes that we can use that way.
Just a follow-up question about the scale of the potential production. Could you imagine it making a smaller production, maybe making an episode, or is there a version of this production plan where if you didn't manage to get the full funding, that could still be viable?
Well, at the beginning we thought to release it in an episodic way, but after that we have talked with the narrative designer and we think that it will be more impactful to have the whole story. But, well, if we didn't have all the money that we wanted, I think it could be a possibility, yeah.
think so too.
Hi. So first of all, big credits to your actors and to your team. Like, yeah, I think it's an interesting story. Is it a real story? No. Okay. Oh, just asking. So yeah, my real question is about like the production value that you want to put in your game. So, okay, you got very good actors, voice actors, but do you want to support it with actual really good animation as well? Because, like, if you have, if you define a level of expectation through, I don't know, like the scenario and like the development of your artistic style, I mean, everything needs to be at the same level, or there will be some kind of uncanny thing. So do you want to support that? And it costs a lot of money. So
in fact, when I was on the production plan slide, I've talked about the fact that we will have a lot of artists. I don't remember exactly my production plan, but it will be around 10 to 13 artists full time, because we really want to put a lot of effort on that, and we think that this is one of our main points. So yeah, for now we don't have any animators in the team, so we have hired someone from the MK to help us.
Right, you will need like motion capture stuff, performance capture maybe, if you want to target PS5. Like as Benoit said, PS5, high expectation, motion capture, performance capture and everything, and this costs a lot of money. So I think you need to think about your budget again a little bit. So. But it's good.
A last question? Oh, sorry. I haven't seen you, sorry.
Just a little thing. I'm a professor from the Cologne Game Lab. I'm for art and animation for games, and I do a little bit disagree that, I don't think everything has to be motion captured, especially since the game isn't, I don't think you target it to be, looking realistic, hyper-realistic or something. So, I mean, I worked, for example, on Spec Ops: The Line. It had to be really tough, and so yeah, we used motion capture there, but for something like this, it can be still very emotional if you do something, keyframed, hand animated, and I think considering you only have this 1 week of animation class, I think you did already very well, and and I think if you spend all the money motion capturing, you might as well spend it on really good animators to do this really nice as well. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think we're gonna stop now for the questions. Go try the games when we will finish the session. Let's thank again the team. And welcome the next one, which is Unlit.
We're having a small problem, sorry. We're trying our best.
Okay, everyone, sorry for the waiting. So let's switch off the light and begin. So in this world, the light keeps us alive. Actually, it provides us the energy we need to move and live freely, because without it, we become stiffer and stiffer until we die, transformed into statues. But fortunately, thanks to the light of our sun, we can live peacefully. However, the day the sun suddenly reached its end, when its last rays of light hit us, everything changed. Light was no more, and our land were covered with nothing but darkness. At that time, the only way to stay alive was to stop moving. We were barely surviving, and as we thought we were doomed, a mysterious source of energy bursted from the ground. It was so bright, we could use its light to move and live freely again, and we called this newly found energy the Ember. And from that day on, the remaining survivors built the great civilization we know today. We learned how to industrialize it and build a wide network that supplies energy across the city and all around it. So it's in this context that you will embody Rin, a former pathfinder. Pathfinders are a group of heavily trained explorers that can reach any area of the world, including the Unlit one. Because what I didn't tell you before is that with the industrialization, our society was not fractured into two different places. The first one being the lit areas, where people could live thanks to embers energy, and the unlit ones, where no one knows what's remaining. And so the Pathfinders, with their cutting-edge equipment and their physical performance, their main mission is to seek for any traces of life still remaining within the rubbles of unlit areas. And their second task is to extend Ember network so that the city can grow with it. One day, without any explanation, a blackout occurred, and a whole sector of the city suddenly dived into darkness once again. And as Rin, you will feel the need to put on your Pathfinder suit again and go there, help any surviving people, and then reactivate Ember network. So now, our game will take over 3 acts. The first one unfolds within the city core, the main lit area of the world, and Rin will try to reach the sector 35, the one where the blackout occurred. On her way, she will encounter obstacles, and she will need to remember how to use her exoskeleton. Our goal here is to introduce step by step the moveset to the players so they can learn gradually Rin's abilities. In the second act, she will restore Ember network, and there she will discover that the place is actually occupied by unexpected enemies. Then we will introduce the stealth mechanics, because you will either have to avoid them or run from them using platforming. Finally, in the third act, the game will lead the players to go outside the borders of the city. And they will have to explore what we call the Darklands. This place is even deadlier, vaster, and wilder than everything they've been through before. So there is a known creature roaming around, but Rin will reach the end of her quest. But for today, our vertical slice takes place just at the end of the first act. The blackout already occurred, and Rin is just about to enter the sector 35.
With Unlit, we aim at proposing a very bold and distinctive gameplay. We mix the 3D platformer genre and survival with resource management elements to create a survival adventure game. Our vertical slice is focused on our 2 core gameplay mechanics, the platforming and the resource management. On one hand, we have our platforming mechanics that allows the players to freely explore the environment around them thanks to a wide range of movements, with jumps, double jumps, dashes, wall runs, and wall jumps. Rin is able to easily move through the level and reach any part of it. Our team spent a lot of time on the controls of our character to make them feel as tight and responsive as possible. We were inspired by games such as Mario 64 and the Prince of Persia trilogy to do so. On the other hand, we have our resource management component, where each and every move you make slowly turns you to stone. This is why Rin is equipped with an exoskeleton, to help her move more efficiently. The players can also equip modules on it to supply more energy to the moves associated with them. If a module is empty, its move is still available, but it will consume its energy directly from Rin's health. Fortunately, there are ways to recharge your health and reverse the statification process. Charging stations are dispersed throughout the environment, relics of the past life of this place. They still contain some ember in them, enough to recharge and continue exploring the world. But let's see all of this directly in action in our vertical slice. Ah, on peut switcher sur Le jeu, s'il vous plaît. Non, remets la diapositive. Non, parce que j'ai pas les commentaires. Sorry. So, right now we are at the start of the game, so we made a small tutorial to explain how the game works, and we will follow it here. So as you can see on the screen, there is a leg module. This one supplies more energy to the jumps and double jumps. Then we have our module that is on our thighs, which is used for wall runs and wall jumps. On our arms, we have our dash modules, which are used, of course, for our dashes. And finally, we have two life bars on our back. They represent the amount of health you have left. If they reach 0, you die, turn statified. As you can see, Rin does not get affected by fall damage. Right now, for context, you are in the underground of Sector 35, and you have to find a way to go to an elevator to go back up to the surface. In this part of the level, there is ember flowing under you that supply you with enough energy to move freely without any restriction. While looking at the environment around them. Now we have to be careful, as Ember isn't close to us anymore. Each and every move we make consumes our energy. Sadly, these people died turned into statues. They are frozen forever in time. If you have noticed, the lights on Rin's suits have changed accordingly to the amount of energy left in them. To help you understand this, we also create a more fleshed out interface that you can access at will to see it. You may have noticed that Rin seems to have more difficulties to move right now. Luckily, there are ways to recharge your health. The point of the game will be to go from one Ember station to another to progress through the story. Now, let's see how a newcomer in the game would play. He would probably use a lot of jumps. As you may have seen, managing your resources is very important in this game, as your resources are your movements. Now, let's see what you can do when you know how to play the game. What you have just seen is only one of a variety of different ways to get up this tower. There are plenty of different paths you can use to do so. Now I will let you enjoy the rest of the gameplay.
Well, let's talk about our intention. In order to highlight our two main gameplay mechanics, platforming and resource management, we propose a challenging, open-ending level design, offering different ways to reach the same objective. We wanted to put emphasis on giantism. thanks to the procedural asset generation with Houdini, we have been able to prototype and iterate more easily to create an interesting world that fully takes part of our 2 gameplay mechanics. Player will have to decide which way to take, depending on how move they have left. To inform players about the quantity of energy they have left, and to let them immersed on the game world, we worked on a diegetic interface. And for more legibility and accessibility, we have developed an extra diegetic interface that keeps exoskeleton codes. Characters animation can also inform the player about their health. Our character artist spend a lot of time on Rin's animation to convey the feeling that she gradually gets statified as the energy reserved runs out. Well, our intention behind this resource management mechanic are double. On one hand, we want the players to feel under pressure. We want them to be afraid of dying before reaching the next Ember station. On the other hand, because of this energy restriction mechanic, we want the player to carefully plan every move they will make. We want them to save as much as possible their energy consumption by optimizing the quantity of move they will make to reach their goal. With the vertical slice, you just saw a little glimpse of what the whole game has to offer. In it, we decided to focus on our 2 core gameplay mechanics, platforming and resource management, but the complete game will have the complete game will feature way more content. At the beginning of the second act, enemies will be introduced in the game. Once they see Rin, they will chase her and try to kill her. As you know, Rin is a pathfinder, not a soldier, so she can't kill enemies by herself, but she will have other ways to deal with them. She can either sneak past the enemies and avoid to being seen, or she can run from them to escape, using her platforming skills. Just like Rin, some enemies will also have limited amount of energy before they die, turning into stone. In this situation, the player will have to find ways to make enemy move to waste their energy. The game will feature moveset upgrades. During the exploration of the world, Rin will find different upgrades, improving her exoskeleton. Their modules will have different benefits, such allowing triple jumps, being able to chain more dashes, or lengthen the wall run distance. There will also be unlockable moves like sliding or climbing. And these moves will be linked to the Rin's 3 modules. They will be mostly hidden in hard-to-reach areas of the world. With it, our goal is to encourage players to take the risk to explore their surroundings. The game will also feature energy recharges dispersed throughout the world. This item can be used by the player at any time, allowing them to partially recharge their energy. We will have 2 types of recharges. One that partially refill Rin's modules and health, and another that frees all energy consumption for a definite amount of time, encouraging the player to travel the longest possible distance in that time. This system gives more flexibility, pace, and depth to our gameplay mechanics and encourages players to take the risk to explore their surroundings. The final act of the game will see Rin venture on the Darkland, aboard of a rare exploration vehicle. Here, there will be an important gameplay shift. The player will now have to explore a huge open areas in which the only way to refill their health is to go back to the vehicle. Equipped with more efficient modules, Rin will have to spend most of her time in the complete darkness, going from objective to objective until reaching the new source of energy, origin of the deadly conflict.
Now, let's talk about the business part of the game. In terms of positioning with its competitors, since Unlit mixes platforming gameplay mechanics with resource management element, we tend to have many different competitors, but not on the exact same market position. For example, Subnautica and Outer Wilds have strong survival mechanics with exploration, but no platforming at all. On the other hand, games like A Hat in Time, Mario Odyssey, or UK Lady have very strong platforming mechanics and exploration components, but no survival mechanics at all. Unlit is situated in the middle of these genres, having both platforming and surviving elements in our games, allows us to reach part of these two types of players. In terms of scope of development and budget, we plan to develop the game in 18 months within a core team of 20 members. Our total development cost would be around 1.9 million euros for the development only and 2.5 million in total, including marketing, testing, and localization. We plan to have a 10-hour game duration. We have a premium economic model with a price at launch of 30 euros. The scope of our game would be a triple-I game. We wish to sell the game primarily on PC via downloading on Steam, GOG, and Epic Game Store. Then in a second time, ported on Microsoft and Sony consoles. Our break-even point would be at 185,000 copies, and our sale objective would be at 300,000 copies. Now let's see how we obtained those numbers. To establish our planning and our development cost, we relied on the 3 months of pre-production at Cnam-Enjmin and determined a roadmap from these informations. In 3 months, within a team of 9 people, we have been able to develop our 2 core gameplay mechanics, platforming and resource management. We developed the 3C, control, camera, and character. We modeled our main character with all of our animation, and we did the main menu. Finally, we have been able to create a small portion of the game of approximately 15 minutes of playtime. We now would have to develop 4 big gameplay features for the final game: the enemies, the moveset upgrades, the energy recharges, and the vehicle feature. In terms of level design and level art, we would have to develop the 3 acts for a total playtime of approximately 10 hours. To develop the whole game, we planned 8 months of production for the alpha, 5 months for the beta, and 2 months for the master. To determine the development cost, we made a staffing plan with a man-month cost of 7,000 euros, which shows a high man-month value because it includes the cost of every necessities for an employee: his salary, the rental of premises, his computer, the software licenses, etc. With a total of 279 man-months spread out over 18 months of development and an average monthly cost of 100,000 euros, the whole game would cost approximately 2 million euros to develop for the development only, and by adding marketing, testing, and localization, we would reach 2.5 million. To evaluate the number of expected sales for our game, we benchmark games with a similar scope. In terms of positioning and scope, Unlit would be a triple-I game situated between a smaller triple-I game such as Fury, that costed approximately 1.6 million euros, and a double-A game such as the first season of Life is Strange, that costed approximately 6 million euros. In terms of pricing, our selling price at 30 euros is in line with the usual price of a triple-I game and double-A games, such as Life is Strange or Hellblade. In terms of profitability, stating where the situation, with a situation where the game would reach our objective of 300,000 copies, we would make a gross revenue of 4.2 million euros. To calculate our gross revenue, we first computed the average revenue per unit sold. To do so, we took the selling price at launch of the game, which is 30 euros, on which we remove the VAT of 20% in France by dividing by 1.2. We then remove the distributor margin of 30%, and finally we remove 20% because of a regular discount on the game price. We thus obtained an average revenue per unit sold of 14 euros. By removing from our gross revenue the different charges including development cost, marketing, testing, localization, we would obtain a net result of around 1.65 million euros. Finally, by stating that our editor would take 50% on our net result, our net royalty made with the game would be approximately 800,000 euros. This sum of money would allow us to start the development of another game after this one. Now let's stop talking about business stuff and sum up our game. So with Unlit, we have three main intentions. Having a gigantic, open-ended, explorable environment, creating a mix of audacious gameplay mechanics, and proposing a mysterious and intriguing narrative. Plan your route, save your movement, survive. That was Unlit. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, don't hesitate. Our vertical slice is now available on eatch.io. Thank you very much.
Yeah, first question.
So your total team size is 10.
Yes.
Who's the producer? Bravo.
Thank you.
That was great. That was fantastic. I would argue with you on some of the details, but not on the execution. So really, really good job on production.
Thanks a lot.
Did the team feel supported by production or dominated by production? Be honest.
Good question.
Pass it around.
They're too shy.
Seriously, though, good production will save you a lot of crunch time because that is what it's really intended to do, is try to properly estimate and cost and schedule. And if they're there taking your information and distilling it for you, it saves you so much time, so you can do your job, which is art or other, programming, other skills, right? So don't undervalue production in saving you sleepless nights. So again, bravo. The game itself looks good too. I'm not going to, other people have questions about that. But really good game, great production.
Thank you.
Yeah, that production presentation was pretty orgasmic, I have to admit. I'll be bookmarking that on YouTube. In a third-person game, you have a character in the middle of the screen for the entirety of the game. You're going to be staring at it, so it's important that it's a compelling character, and also that the character's movements and its actions has valuable information. And you totally aced it in that regard. I think it's a very compelling character, and there was already an entire intellectual property that is emerging from that. And I think in these types of games, often the character is incredibly important. Mario is important, Prince of Persia. There's always a very strong, very compelling character that has affordance to do a lot of interesting movements, and that is compelling to look at for many hours. So I was kind of surprised when I saw that you are, in your presentation, focusing on the environment, because it looks like you have under-prioritized the environment in your production a little bit, and I think that's good, actually, because the environment is more fixable, and even the level design is more fixable. But what isn't fixable is a compelling, strong character, strong core gameplay, especially the core gameplay. So I think that is fine, and I think you should capitalize on that, especially with the genre that you've gone for. It begs for more. I want to know more about the character. I want to know more about the world, and that's okay that you can't give it to me because you have my attention.
To respond to this comment, I think Hugo is very pleased of your comments, of course, but we didn't actually under-prioritize the environment. We actually had, as we said, a gigantic environment, and so as far as production capabilities, we couldn't do much more. But in a better game, in a full game, of course, the environment would be as astonishing as because of course we had one graphic artist for only the character and one graphic artist for the whole environment. So of course you'd guess it's not the same kind of job.
Hello. It was nice. I liked it. The game feels like it's fun.
to play. Good presentation from everyone also. Just a quick question about like some design elements. You guys said there will be like new move sets. Will there be combinations of existing ones, dash, jump, and wall run? And what energy source will they consume?
So yeah, there are going to be upgrades of the current modules you have. So as we said, multiple dashes combined once you're still in here, and some more moves. And it's still using the same kind of energy, but once you get upgraded, you will have also more stockage, I'd say, to keep using more energy on further runs. And so as you progress in the game, you will be able to cover more distance between stations, reloading stations.
And last question for me, thank you. In terms of readability, environment readability, you guys knew where to go. Can you expand a bit more on what the player will need to do to know exactly where to go actually?
So we, as level designers, we should also, of course, work more on lights. The deal was since we wanted to be, we didn't want to discriminate the different paths since each path is totally usable. We didn't use as much of light as on other projects to like tell the player where to go. So it would be a great way to do it. We already kind of did it with emissive materials, but yeah, that's the most part. And then we actually got a very interesting suggestion today that we could have some analyzing equipment that would tell us where the different kind of stations would be. And so it would be a great indicator to where you should go and how far you're from dying or getting your energy back.
I have a small question about the amazing properties of your character. Why is it necessary to wear high heel sneakers to jump into your world?
I'm not sure I understood the question.
He didn't understand the question.
High heel sneakers, c'est des talons hauts. Pourquoi est-il nécessaire de porter des talons hauts pour sauter dans votre univers?
It's actually, I know it looks like it, but it's not high heels, if that's the question. It's there's two different kind of pistons. I hope that's the English word. The main idea is that when she falls from very, very high place, it kind of helps her not to break her legs because of the damages. Like the pistons kind of move on this kind of flat thing at the base of her foot. So the idea is to compensate for the weight of the exoskeleton. That's what I had in mind while designing it. It looked like more of high heels before, like I tried to redesign it. So I hope it doesn't look too much like it now. But yeah.
Last question.
Thank you. Great presentation. It's not a question. I just want to say the design is really cool, and the animation too, and the gesture of the camera. It's like we have the perception of a movie, and it's very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, congratulations. I think you really succeed in the atmosphere of oppression. We feel like playing, but in a way, I was maybe expecting a release at a moment, a kind of breath. And do you plan to add it at the moment of the party, of the game? Sorry.
So yeah, this feeling was definitely in our objective. We worked a bit more lately on the project with lights to create this sense of unease, and as I said before, we probably didn't work on it enough, so it would be something that would be on the full game. And so of course this place on the vertical slice is almost solitary place. There is practically nobody, and so Then, when you get actually into the city and you encounter people, you have to talk with them, and you're going to get into situations where you're going to have to make choices that actually affects people, and it's going to be a big part of the theme of the game. And so this becomes a more psychological kind of unease, and I think it does a good job for that.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm Frank Labat, a level designer at Ubisoft Bordeaux. I have just a question about your level design in general. So it's like a big open area or big level for what I saw. So my question is, do you have any plan to create something like an open world? Because you're using Houdini, so it could be interesting to have something more open. But I know you are kind of stuck with the checkpoint and your mechanism, so your mechanics. So do you have any plan for creating something bigger, something open, more open?
Yes. So, hi. So as we said on the last act of the game, it's supposed to be a very open world phase where you actually own. I'm not sure if you played. Okay, it's all right. So I'm not sure if you're going to own a vehicle, and this vehicle is going to be your link to your energy source. So it's going to be a very long cable, and this cable is going to be upgraded, and to upgrade it, you're going to have to explore this whole open world, which is going to be filled with ruins of your ancient civilization once the sun was still here. And so this act will be focused on exploration and this open world phase. And so yeah, I think it would be able to manage, still own our management resources mechanics, and put emphasis on exploration with this vehicle. And so yeah, that's the idea, and I think it would be a very good thing for the game, but of course it was the harder thing to produce in a vertical slice.
I heard audio, because effects happening, but I didn't hear music. Did I miss it?
There are, but apparently the mix is not adapted to the amphitheater, and it wasn't clear enough. So that's something. It's more the room than the game, because in the game you should hear it better. But I guess with the ambiences, the amber, which is very loud and low, it gets covered quite a bit. And I didn't adapt the mix to this room enough. So my bad.
Okay. So we can hear it when we play the game. We can hear it.
Yeah, it should be better.
Okay, great.
That's what I wanted to invite you to do. So, oops, as we are quite late, sorry, we're gonna stop the question there. But you will have the time to go and test the game, so to hear the music, but also enjoy it. Thank you once again. And let's welcome the last team of the afternoon and of the day. So let's welcome the Big Mess.
Test. It's okay, it works.
Test. Do we have the...
C'est ce PC-là qui montre? Oui. This one.
Let's go close next to each other. Which one is the control? This?
Yeah, this one.
Then you sit here because you are that guy. La la la. Yeah.
Test.
Poop.
Hello. Yeah, it's okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for still being here. We are very happy today to show you our work and to show you our game, Big Mess. We hope you will enjoy the concept. Now let's. Oh, that's cute. Oh, Guillaume, please stand up. This is our first Big Mess fan here in the audience with the sweatshirt. Wonderful. You are amazing. You can change the screen. Yeah. Thank you. So, as you saw in the trailer, in Big Mess, you and your friends control aliens, and your mission is to go on Earth and help humans to tidying up the mess. But as you will see during the presentation and during our gameplay session, even if you want to be nice with humans, you always created a big mess at the end. So, it's a couch co-op puzzle game with a 3D top-down camera, playable for 1 to 4 players. And we are targeting young adults, couples, and especially families. And we will release the game on Nintendo Switch and PC, and later on Xbox One and PlayStation. So now Simon and Balint will explain you the game. Because we created kind of lab to make our presentation. Simon and Balint.
Hello. So, as you can see, I'm here, this guy. Hello, yeah. And I can move, I have wobble in my arm. That's wonderful. And so, basically, I can move and push physical objects like this. Yeah, big mess. Yeah, okay. Sorry. And so, basically, I have one object. So, these chairs. It's dirty, I can grab it and drop it down. Okay, that's the base of the game. And now, yes, a task appears at the corner, as you see. And I can, so there's basically said I have to wash these chairs. So I take the sponge, the tool, and yeah, it's washed now. So the task is done, okay, well done. Next batch of tasks, sorry. And now, okay, a new batch is like, yes, wash the mug with stationary tools. So it's basically the same. I can wash something, but I can move it like this. I can interact like this, blah, 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 blah. Yep, wonderful. And I take the mug, I take the mug. Yeah, I take the mug. Yeah, cool. Thank you, physic. And I put it on the table. Thank you. Yes, cool. And now a new champion is coming, Balint.
Hello, Balint.
Bonjour.
Can you what?
Yep, this is me, yes. So now we have two tasks. One of them is to move the couch to the clock, and the other is to move the light to the couch, which we do. Wonderful. Now Simon cannot come in because there's the couch, so I help him. Let's move it. Yeah. So, wonderful.
So we will show you the work we made during 3 months with a team of 9 people. And Balint and Simon will present you one of the 9 levels, please, guys. One of the 9 levels we made for this vertical slice. This is a quick overview of the kind of iteration process we made during all the projects. So it starts with, yes, pumpkins, thank you. We start, an idea comes from one of the team members. It can come from everyone. After that, all the team made a meeting, we brainstorm together, and if there is a potential with this idea, we decided to make a quick integration in the build with, for example, some 3D models, very simple, that one. And if it's a yes, we integrate it in the game and we polish this content feature as far as we can. If it's not very funny or if the concept doesn't work, we go back to the brainstorm and we try to find a solution. And Balint will explain you the timeline and the vertical slice.
Alright, so that's basically the timeline of the whole game. It planned to take approximately 5 hours to beat. What you can see here is there's basically these 4 environments. Please stop it. The grandma's house, the zoo, the moon, and the city. And all of these thematical environments represent different rules, different assets, and a little bit of different kind of gameplay. Between these environments, there's a cutscene which narratively explains how the aliens get to that place. These dots you can see on the ground represent batches of levels. Each batch contains 5 levels. Each level is approximately 3 minutes to beat. However, the player can be more efficient and do it quicker or a little bit experiment longer. So there's 5 levels, which is a little journey, a short story you could say, which ties it together, and then the next batch is unlocked. The important part, there's a timer on each level. If the player fails to beat the level within the time, that's all right. The next level or next batch gets unlocked. However, in order to, let's say, unlock additional features or to get better badges, they have to finish the levels in a certain time period. Our vertical slice contains 9 levels, all of which are taking place in the grandma's house. These levels are not continuous, not how it would be in the real game, but jump around a little bit so we can show more diverse gameplay with more tools and systems. So the levels you will see are taking place here. We have 9 levels, which you are very welcome to try in the box, but in the presentation we will show 5 because it's faster that way.
Okay, so now Balint and Simon will play the 9 levels. Let's go, guys. Come on.
So, the grandma is the task giver, and who says, I would like to enjoy my breakfast in the kitchen, but the chairs are all over the place. Can you help me, darlings? So let's do that.
So as you can see at the top of the screen, there is the task, and at the top right there is the timer and the rank.
Okay.
Yep. So here Balint and Simon have to put 4 chairs next to the table.
Yeah. Yippee. Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Okay. Maybe you can restart this one and try to have a better score.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, okay, go.
Okay, go. Table. Yes. Table. Yeah.
Big one.
So I would like to send it down. Oh, where's the couch?
Okay.
So here we also made an interactive camera system. So when players are very close, the camera can do some stuff like that. There are casual interactions, for example, the radio, and if you are tired about the radio, because it's, yeah, this is the radio, you can throw it out. Et sinon. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's try it.
Okay,
to be
take
nice.
it like this. Wait, let's try.
Upwards, wait.
Up. No, not up.
Let's just go
up. Yes, good. Yes, like this. Go down. Yep. Yes, perfect.
Listen to the radio. Okay, so chairs to the table. Let's get the chairs.
Okay, okay. Oh, chairs. Yes, chairs. Yes.
At the top left, you see that there is a batch of tasks, 3 of them. And you see also that there are multiple ways to resolve these tasks.
Wait 1 second. Okay, so let's get a couch, I guess.
Couch, yeah. Is
What?
here?
Oh, it's
Oh, wonderful.
Wait.
Okay, go inside.
You go up, okay?
I go up? Well,
No.
where? Oh my god.
Okay, you go first.
I go first?
Yep.
Why? Okay.
It's better. Okay, and turn in. Yes. Up.
No,
Sorry.
Yes. Perfect. Haha, you're stuck. Oh, okay. Where
Mugs.
is the mugs? Yeah.
Here.
Mugs.
Wait.
Mugs.
And of
is
course,
not
yes,
here.
if there are no mugs, there
No
is no
mugs
tax
anymore.
about mugs.
Let's try this very quick.
We have to gold this level.
Okay, so
Three.
you get little table.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay. Three. Okay.
Okay, go.
Little table. Mugs. Shit mugs. Sorry.
Come. I
I'm
try.
on the table. Ow. No, I'm sorry. Restart.
Restart,
I want
okay.
to restart. I want to restart. Okay, restart. Yes. 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Mugs. Table. Yes. Go. Chair. Radio.
Take it. Nice. So cooking. Let's cook.
Let's cook.
Okay, so here you have to cook the pumpkins, but the oven doesn't work if it's not plugged, so they have to find a way to plug the oven before.
Here, yeah. No, okay, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
like
get
this,
let's get the pumpkin off the fridge.
No, I want to cook this. No, I don't care about it.
Simon.
The fridge. Yeah, yes, fridge. Let me, please. Thank you. Cook. Thank you.
There was actually a plug behind the fridge.
So okay, I see. You want to make it better? Okay.
So we move fridge first and then put the oven there and cook the one inside and throw the others, or? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yes, move the fridge. Okay, now.
Try to slide more.
I tried.
You cook.
Oh no. Oh my god. I'm flying.
Whoops.
Okay, let's restart. You forget everything, okay?
Yeah, the fridge. Sorry. Okay, now.
This game is so cool. It's plugged? No, it's not plugged. Nice.
Okay.
I'm stuck.
I don't care.
Ew. Cooperative game, huh? Yeah, cooperative game. Well, yeah. So cooperative game. Well done. What is this?
Watering flowers.
Oh. Okay. Oh, teapot.
Okay, so here they have to use the watering can, but there are some unexpected reactions can happen in the game.
It's working,
Be
it's
careful,
working,
guys.
yeah. Thank you, Criticality.
And in some batches of level, players will encounter some kind of crazy and funny level. Here, this is the spamming one, so players just have to spam and use the sponge to clean everything.
What is this?
We talked about it, not use it, don't use it. Oh.
I don't care. Oh, no. Yes.
Oh, if I paint, it also counts.
I can paint. Oh. Oh. You can paint.
Okay, let's just do it.
Where is the last mug? Oh.
Where's the last mug?
I don't know. Last mug. Last mug.
One mug.
Last
I
mug.
really hope it's not behind the couch. Oh, I think it's this. No? No, that's a
last
boot.
mug.
I think it is behind the couch.
Okay, let's try to move it. Look at my art. Wow. Beautiful.
Okay. Oh,
Ooh. You see? No? Oh, what? Oh. This system. We can restart also.
Yeah. But let's just do it quick now.
Okay, Spin.
Ah, finally. So, please, to the right.
Sorry.
Thank you. So, what we plan for to make the full game, we will need 15 months with a team of 10 people to release the game in April 2021. We will release the game. The release price of the game will be 19.99 euros. Can we be serious a little bit? Thanks. But as we will make some discounts after the release, we choose to take the average price of 13.99 euros.
Zero.
Let's go, Alliance.
Oh.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Okay, so...
Thank you very much.
Okay, I take the game.
I do break-even points.
So,
what price, please, Monsieur CDP?
So, for the game production, we have an amount of 628,000 euros.
Okay. Oh.
Like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
0, 0.
And
0.
this game production.
6 million.
This game production cost leads us to a break-even point of 110,000 copy.
Wait, euro.
And
okay, so
there is also, we plan also to make a Twitch feature because we are convinced that our game fits a lot with Twitch because it's highly replayable. And players encounter really unexpected and silly situations, and Balint will explain you that.
Yeah, so we are trying to find and identify different sources where Twitch would be interesting for us. And other than specific game modes designed for it, we identify 3 things. One of them is give me the euro sign, the mission editor tool, this one, which would basically, we want to enable the Twitch chat to be able to use the same tool we use for mission creation. So they can specify what to do, where to do, yada, yada, yada. Then the second one would be resource management, where the streamer can ask for certain resource, such as a certain tool or certain objects which the chat can choose to give or not to give, as well as triggering random events, such as, you will see. And yeah, so that's about it.
Yeah, so now we will act like you, the audience, are the viewers, and Simon and Balint will be the streamers. So I want that you have to be ready, because we will try to annoy the Simon and Balint's game.
Okay, so would you be so kind, help with those dishes? Papa, my back hurts, can't run. Okay. Okay.
So very simple. They just have to wash
We have to clean this.
some objects.
Where is
But let's try to find something funny. Maybe
Pumpkins Rain. Pumpkins, let's do it. Okay, Simon and Balin, try to continue.
Oh,
Maybe
thank
we
you,
can do it
guys.
another time. Pumpkins?
No, I didn't hear anything, sorry.
Oh, please, Simon. Yeah. And another time, money?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good luck, Simon Balint.
We just watched the Euros.
Seriously, good luck. Okay, so we really want to thank the Alpha. Thank you, Claire, Séverine, Benoit, Charlène, and Léa, who's here in the audience today. Thank you very much. Also, with the Charente, with François, thank you very much because we were able to make a lot of playtests with kids, parents, family, teenagers, a lot of people. And, of course, Alliance, stop quack. And, of course, the team, Simon, the game designer with Balint, Hugo, programmers, Agathe, game artist, Amaury, UI, UX, Georges, the second programmer, Thomas for the sound, Rémi for the graph, and Louis Smith. And also 3 first-year students who help us for the music. Thank you very much, Damien, Laurent, and Thomas. And yeah, thank you very much, and please, make a big mess.
Thank you. So who wants to start with the questions? I know you all want to play. Oh, thank you.
So you credited first-year students with the music? He's making a big mess. Help. Okay. You credited first-year students with the music? Is that true? I thought the music was fantastic. So bravo, wherever they are, fantastic. Yeah.
Actually, last time we spoke, we were speaking about the music.
Yeah.
So as I had a lot of work and I wanted to have the best for the game, I asked some friends in M1 that are better in composing, and so we worked with my intentions and their knowledge, and I did after all the integration and mixing. But they did all that wonderful work. You can hear, you could have heard here and also in the box later. We have 2 music plus the menu, so there is kind of a lot of stuff that we have done. So thanks again to them.
Yeah, it's very good. So I do have one actual question, though. So the market for this, you talk about families, and you talk about development budget. Did I miss the marketing budget somewhere?
Yes, we have the detailed budget, and this is on the box. And of course, we know that we will have to spend a huge amount on marketing to be able to reach all of the family and stuff.
Yeah.
So of course, it will be a big part of the budget. For the budget now, we choose to spend 100,000 euros, but it will be more, I'm sure.
That'll last you less than a week. That'll be good.
Hello, Alexandre from Ubisoft Paris. I just want to give you a big bravo for your presentation. I've seen quite a lot of them and did quite a lot of them, and it's very hard to do an interesting and original one. And there is a big effort and time placed into this one in addition to the game. So thank you.
Thank you.
The last type of game made is pile up, who is on the other side of the game. And pile up now they are in the integrator and they are trying to start the game. And they had they were looking for a publisher. And a lot of publishers said it's almost the same question, that party games are very difficult to sell. And there are very few party games on the market, and there are less party games that had enough money. So have you looked a little, I don't know if you want to make it a real game, this is really a problem for this type of games. This is just a question, and my comment is that your presentation and your game is really funny.
Yes, we come back to the same things. We have to do a lot of work on marketing. Also, maybe having someone only about community management and marketing inside the team, even if we have a publisher or something, to build a strong community. And yes, we are aware that party game is very difficult to have a success, but we are convinced that it can work. Yes.
So, of course, it doesn't fix the problem, but that's also part of the reason why we propose 1 to 4 players. So actually, the game should make sense for a single person to buy the game, and also the Twitch part should encourage this, as well as the whole Steam remote thing, which I don't know too much about. Maybe you do, which could also enable this a little bit. But that's why we were not forcing a 4-player only or something like this.
Other questions?
Thank you very much, guys. It was great, honestly. It was a great presentation, and also the game looks fantastic. So I have a question. Did you plan to have a competitive game mode, like you are playing against other teams or something like that?
Yeah, we imagine with Twitch again, and not with Twitch, whatever. We imagine like a lot of game mode, like racing. I don't know, two corridor, and you have to run with against other player. Yes, you have to clean quickly than the other player, or you have to make a big mess, and the other one have to clean this, whatever. So we can imagine a lot of mod, competition, cooperation, multiplayer, and to make the player enjoy the game. That's it. And yeah.
And the last question, can you send me a free copy when it's shipped? Please. Thank you very much.
Sorry, no. We just start.
But you can test it after.
It looks like a lot of fun, your game. I wonder, it looks like it was fun to create as well. And making games can actually be a very miserable process. You have super long cycles. You sit indoors looking at a computer screen. So I wonder if you guys can perhaps just quickly say what made the production fun? What is the secret to not losing your mind in a game development process? And is there anything you would take with you from this process that you would take with you into your working life?
So first of all, we are also indoors looking at computers, but we have very big windows, so we
get that vitamin D.
Yes, but first you have to do a lot of raclette with the team. No, I think the most important is that all of the team members. All the team members doesn't have to be afraid to share an opinion or an idea, but of course this is very difficult to say, okay, my idea is bad, or okay, we have to change everything in the game, and finally the game doesn't look like what we thought at the beginning. So, yeah, I don't know what to answer to that.
I think it's a lot about also what Louis talked about, the iterative process, because making games is basically that. And if we would have forced ourselves to try to do what we envisioned in the beginning, it would have been miserable. And the fact that we were open to change it a little bit while listening to each other and realizing and experimenting and finding the fun and then focusing on that, this enabled us to be less stressed because we didn't have to beat the dead horse. So I think that, is that an expression actually? Thank you.
And
that's what you mean by it.
I really join Louis for the part. You have to be in a good team because it's important. Because if you're not afraid about say your idea, it's like in game. If you're not afraid about fail, you can progress and so iterate and whatever.
Camille from Gameloft. So thank you for the presentation. Again, it was great, and it seems that so the result is great, but also the process looks interesting. The way you got there, the whole iterative stuff. I just wanted to mention it. I think it's really nice. My question, though, if I remember the slide correctly, because it was a bit of a mess, but it seems that you are planning to release the game on all the platforms except mobile devices. And I was wondering what motivated that choice, and if there's any constraints either from the gameplay or I don't know, tech perspective that made you roll out this option.
I personally never even thought
about it. Thank you for the question. We actually thought it was better to improve the game moments with family and stuff like this around the console or PC with controllers, and it doesn't really fit with the mobile thing of being a lot with we have a few controls and a way to personalize this, but there is also the fact that we are a multiplayer game and it's really hard for now to work on mobile or to play on mobile so with multiplayer. So
and also when we choose to implement a feature or a level in the game, we always thinking when we are brainstorming to, okay, how will react 2 players or 4 on a couch? And what does their potentially say between each other? So, yeah. Because most of the time you are playing alone on mobile phone, or maybe with players online, but we really wanted to focus on the direct conversation between players.
Other reactions? Yeah.
Hello, Alex, level designer. I have one question. Great presentation, of course. Everyone is okay with that. One question about the artistic direction. Because I'm wondering if you have any thought about what is your artistic direction for the game, because it looks really simple and I don't think you have a real artistic direction.
We have one.
Okay, fight. No. So at the basics, we wanted to do a whole house, like one level with a big house, because we were inspired by the dollhouse view with okay. So we wanted to do cute environments but with realistic texture, and we had to adjust a lot between changing in level art. We decided to cut in small pieces of scene so the player could enjoy more the learning of the different gameplay features, and so we had to keep this simple style to fit everything. And honestly, the lights are a bit broken in the trailer, and no trailer is good, but in the gameplay. But yeah, basically we started with the dollhouse view, and we want to keep that with big texture. And yeah, it's simple because we needed to fit a lot of hundreds of objects in the same scene without the FPS crashing down. So
I think it works, but I was imagining something more colorful. I don't know if it fits, but really something fun and more colors. And when we watch it, maybe it's the lighting. You're right. It's a bit. I don't know the word fad in English, but.
Also, another thing is that our visual intention for the game, right from the beginning, was to be inspired from by stop motion animation and miniature stuff. And so we wanted to have a contrast between the aliens who are colorful and cartoony, and the environment who are more realistic looking. But with big textures and appearing as if they were this size approximately.
And also one last thing, we focused on a grandma house, so we did a lot of research in Emmaus and all thrift shop to find the ugliest texture ever, and we are proud of our research in that domain. And so we tried to give a old kitsch stuff look to the house.
Thank you. The games looks really fun. Thank you very much.
Other questions or remarks? No, everybody wants to play at the game. So let's thank again the last team of today. And before ending this session, I would like to invite again all the teams of today to come down. So please remain there. Join all the teams so you're gonna see the whole cohort. And I think they deserve they will deserve a loud round of applause for the work they've done today. So congratulations for all the work you've done for these projects, but for today, the presentation. Congratulations, and congratulations for these 2 years. I want also to thank all the teams that help you, accompany you during these 2 years, so the pedagogical team. So if you want to join me to applaud them. All the technical staff that was there today, we saw them, that they help. So thank you to Florian, Javier. Thanks also to Tristan. Special thank you to the administrative staff that accompany them every day. So thank you to Aurélie. To May, I hope I didn't forget anybody. So thank you to all, and thanks again. So please, final applause for. And final thanks to the jury who gave a lot of feedbacks. So thank you for being there still. You're still the one that are gonna work now. And to finish maybe for this session, thank you. Thank you. And to finish, I will give the mic to Audrey. So So did they fulfill your expectations?
No, I was super impressed by what you've achieved in 4 months. It's really amazing, actually. Especially your high-level vision is striking, I think, but also the level of mastery you've shown in all the technical fields. And one thing that struck me was also the fact that almost everyone in your teams felt confident and spoke and took turns in presentations. So it looked like you've managed to be really good at what you're doing, but you're also really good at doing it together, which is a great achievement and essential to our industry. So congratulations for that. I have, though, while we were looking at your presentations, I wanted to share with you a tweet that I saw from Jack Burkett, that maybe some of you follow already. He's an English guy who always does great analysis on Steam, and he's given a few numbers today. I'm just gonna really make the mood very dark now. So in 2019, the median indie game made $1,400. Everything below that, no money. The top 25 made $12,000, top 25%. So you have to be in the top 5% of the indie game industry today to make $400,000. So you know those orgasmic budgets and business plans, they are really your best friends. So get to know your market and look at every game that's coming. How much are they selling? How much they cost? How clever were they to make them so cheap? Because really it's a difficult world out there. On the positive side, though, I have started a fund that funds games, and I'm seeing a lot of pitches. And I have to say, most of your presentations put those pitches to shame today, so congratulations.
So thank you, and let's play.